Welcome to Chew the Chat podcast.
There's something about, I think it's because I've got all that stuff behind me, innit? Is it following me? Yay. Yeah, so the Sumerian thing, I mean, this is a music project I do, Adrenochrome.
Okay.
Which again is a bit of a nod to all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, fuck me, did we not account for the amount of people who jumped on us for... Did you know that that's what the elites are doing and they're killing all the kids?
Adrenochrome.
I said, well, yeah, we are aware of that, but are you aware that it's a vital molecule in the adrenaline gland, which is why they wanted it?
Yeah.
But also, there's a lot of other reasons why we chose that for an electronic dance act. You know what I mean? Kind of a double play on the fact that it's a conspiracy, but is it a conspiracy? And
What do you is it true? Do you think?
I think
If you was going to put money on it,
I think probably yeah.
I would say yeah.
Because if you think about power and you think about the way that blood, especially with the science we've got now, you look at blood, young blood, is a thing.
Yeah.
It's a fucking thing.
Yeah. So can't be ignored, can it? What's been going on with, say, the Epsteins, Prince Andrew, very dodgy, mate.
Extremely dodgy.
The trafficking, it's what else could they be up to, isn't it?
Have you
like pizza gates and that, like the symbol, isn't it? That triangular symbol. I don't know if you've seen that before.
Yeah.
That sort of, and I've seen some of like the Democrats and that with their masks on, with those symbols like on the masks. I don't know. I've had a little look into it, but that whole pizza gate, adrenochrome, I'd probably say there probably is some truth to it somewhere.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, when you get to that echelon of power. And it comes back to the ancient stuff as well, like we talked a bit about John Dee last night.
Yeah.
John Dee from the 1600s, who's kind of historically known to be like the first archetype of the wizard.
Yeah.
He was advisor to Queen Elizabeth I, and he was the one who did the Book of Enoch and was trying to talk to the angels, and it's said that 007 derived from him because he used to sign off as 007, and the idea that 7 cycles, and he was all into the occult and... like an advisor, a cosmic advisor back then to the monarchs was part of, and a lot of his work, do you know Aleister Crowley?
Yeah, I do.
It starts getting into the more black magic, occult, alchemy, and man. Those levels, it's...
Boris Johnson's missus. What's her name again?
I don't know, because he's got a newer wife from when I last knew anything.
I can't remember what she's called now. But she was in some inside little play to do with Aleister Crowley.
Oh, wow.
Interesting subject to have a little play about, isn't it?
Okay, well, there you go then.
There's photos of it online and everything.
All right, there we go, Aidan. So up here, anything that we pull up or you want to pull up, Aidan will grab it up and it'll go out on the screen.
Oh, that's cool.
And what else is pretty cool is... that I found out about Boris that seems to be common knowledge is the kind of books his dad wrote.
Yeah. I know, right? The Virus.
Yes.
On how basically everything that's happening now.
People will watch this now and think, what?
Yeah.
His father wrote a book,
The
Virus,
Yeah.
about what's happening now.
Yeah. It's all in sort of plain view, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Very, very, very weird time.
And you mentioned, obviously, his wife with the Aleister Crowley link. Well, Rishi Sunak...
Right.
Again, I've read this in the main frame. This is not left of whatever. This is main frame. You can find it. Rishi Sunak had a hedge fund startup, so he was Stanford, I think.
Yeah.
Was Rishi Sunak Stanford educated, Cambridge or Oxford, Stanford? Super smart dude.
Yeah.
He had a startup that started up with like 500 million or something like that, and I'm sure it was named after the religious. Was it Falame? What was his start? It was the Aleister Crowley link through. Was it Falame? If you put Aleister Crowley, Rishi Sunak, Alistair Crowley. Fucking hell, we've gone in deep.
I know, straight in at the deep end. Come on.
His hedge fund was named after the religious facet of what?
Are we rolling now, are we?
Well, it'll be recording. Whether or not this makes it to the fucking front line is another thing.
Okay.
We don't really hold back, though, to be honest.
No, that's cool, man. I'm ready to go for it.
Yeah. Has he got the name on there?
What was it? His
What? In fact, if you search Alistair Crowley's religion, it will probably come up with a name. And
Is that spelled Alistair Crowley?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. I think it's
Thelema?
Thelema. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, now type that in next to Rishi Sunak, and that was the name of his hedge fund.
Some very...
They've probably fucking buried it deep. That I saw that on the UK column.
Yeah.
Thelema Partners, who are we? Yeah. It can be found. We're not bogged down in it, but it's there. It's like I say, I saw that on the main frame, that.
Yeah.
Which just made me think, honestly, I'm not connecting dots and saying, oh my God, he's executing fucking, blood ceremonies and God knows what. But it's interesting to know that they're aware of that stuff and pay. And as you mentioned, at those high levels, power and money and control and riches, often that's not where it ends, is it?
Check out the Podesta twins art. Screwed up, man. Have you seen it?
No.
So is it Joe Podesta or John Podesta? He's American Democrats into the Podestas. Yeah,
I know the name. Yeah.
I ain't seen them for a while, but check out some of their art with. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's ones with like. Where have I seen you? Keep on having a look at those old Podesta images, mate. There's some odd bits of art up there. There's some odd.
Yeah.
Pretty graphic, pretty weird. Yeah, something's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really confusing. I mean, the world's changing anyway. We are in the techno change. We're changing, aren't we? Technological change is upon us. We talked about this before.
Yeah. World Economic Forum, yeah. Yeah,
it's happening fast, and it makes sense, when you get Windows 7 and then Windows 10 comes out, it's a ball ache shifting all your shit across, and it's a fucking nightmare, and I don't want to do it, and it's fearful, and it's changing, it's all these things. It's just the same, it's just scale.
Yeah.
A lot of our operating systems, I don't think anyone would think it would be mad if we said, you know what, all these people, these middle-aged aristocratical people that go in that big wooden room wearing powdered wigs and, my honourable friend and all that, we're past that now.
Yeah.
Let's reorganise that into something new. We wouldn't necessarily say, no, what you're doing, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But everything's happening so fast, isn't it?
Really quick. I mean, it's tinfoil hat talk, obviously, isn't it? But, when I look at the World Economic Forum and Prince Charles is in bed with the World Economic Forum, I don't know if you've seen the photos in like Matt Hancock. There's photos out there. They're all shaking hands. They're all in it. I think they want to crash the economy. They want to. They want a cashless society, isn't it? If you go on the World Economic Forum, they don't want cash anymore.
Yeah.
But then who controls the digits? And I think like if in China, if they misbehave in China, they can just fine you and boom you. It's straight out the account, isn't it? And I just don't like that leverage that they would have over us. So really crazy times, mate.
That's what technology is going to do. I was just talking to my dad on the phone, and we covered a bit of what's happening. Trying to keep each other sane in the light of just machine gun news bulletins just coming in. This is happening. That's like the kind of things that, if you had one of these news items in a 6-month period, it'd be enough to get your head around and go, but they're coming that thick and fast. You've got no time to condense it, to take it even at any kind of value other than, my God, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
My dad was talking about electric cars.
Yeah.
He said, if you are lucky enough to drive to Cornwall in the future for your family holiday, you won't be going on the route you want to go on.
No.
You'll be going on the route calculated via the grid that is in line with the whole fucking, use of the electrical application of all these cars and all of the varied associated.
Yeah, they want to digitalise everything, don't they? I think a lot of it's got to do with Queen Elizabeth II dying probably this decade. Yeah. You know, how old are you, Sam?
I'll be 40 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, so 37, and I kind of think that we all thought this was just going to be static and it was always going to be like this, isn't it? And I don't think, I mean, I look at Prince Charles, I don't trust the guy. I think he's dodgy, and I don't really think many people would like to see his face on the notes. I think he's jumped into bed with Klaus Schwab.
Right.
And I think that's quite a bit of what's going on at the moment.
So
I'm going to watch them too
him
like
being
a
in the
hawk,
driving
mate.
seat. Yeah.
I'm watching them too like a hawk. Almost every single day I'll check World Economic Forum, find out what they're up to. I think that's all I can do for now, isn't it?
What do you make of the Klaus Schwab situation? I've not really delved into him. I've seen the World Economic Forum, I've seen the Great Reset, I've seen the Build Back Better thing, I've seen headlines that have been, this is not left field talk, this is headlines I've seen in bus stops. In the future you will own nothing and you will be happy. And that is a sole tagline from the World Economic Forum about this new green Great Reset.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I just want to be left alone. You know, that's all I want. I just want to be left alone. I want to do whatever I want. I want cash in a society. I think cash is important. And I think that they don't want that. I just think as long as you're a law-abiding citizen, just crack on with it, you know. There shouldn't really be much more to it than that.
But that's what's scary, Drew, is that the law's changing in the colour of what's happening in the face of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like today, I think this afternoon, Matt Hancock's going to publish the new Mental Health Act.
Yeah, definitely loves his adrenochrome, that guy. He is definitely on it.
There we go. Go to Spotify, adrenochrome with an A, and you can listen to some digital electronic music that might make you think. Yeah, it's there it is. Look, there's adrenochrome. You can check us out. It's adrenochrome with an N and an A. We did change the spelling on purpose. And for all of you conspiracy theorists out there, it is not in the name of, you know, staying young forever and drinking child's blood. It's in the idea that it's an adrenaline molecule in the adrenaline gland that is fired up by our music.
Sweet, man.
Just so happens that this track's called The Power of Nightmares.
So who's writing this then?
Steve on the right,
Yeah.
the tall guy,
Yeah.
obviously with hair, who is not the short guy with no hair, which is me.
Yeah.
He's the musical master. He creates the beats, produces the music, sends it to me.
So I'm not just saying this is an ace.
That's some good music, yeah.
I really,
it's really good music.
really
Yeah.
like digging this straight away.
Yes, good music.
So this one I've liked.
In fact, get the video up for this one, because I think Drew will appreciate the video for this. If you go to YouTube and search The Power of Nightmares adrenochrome with the N and obviously the A, adrenochrome, Power of Nightmares. Yeah, there you go. So this video, we based this video, there's a bit of the occult in this. So this book here, The Secrets of All Teachings of All Ages, Manly P. Hall.
Yeah.
I'm reading that book in this video. And we kind of, The Wall, Pink Floyd The Wall, I don't know if you've seen that movie, but we kind of used that and Jacob's Ladder as a kind of a backdrop of a theme. I wanted to create the darkness, and the lyric, you know, speaks for itself.
Cool. Mate.
Crank it up a bit in the old cans, Aidan.
Mate, what a voice.
Thank you.
Quality, man.
Just like me, you can dream. So you don't know if you can trust yourself. Is this the power of the nightmare?
This next line is where the old song came from. David Attenborough took this line off. Yeah, thanks, Aidan. So that line there, this land beneath our feet was built by volcanoes.
Yeah.
I was watching, was it Frozen Planet? It was one of the big ones from the last 5 or 6 years of Attenborough.
Right.
And it just struck me. I was deeply stoned on the sofa watching this with my missus, and he said, "This land beneath our feet is built by volcanoes." And I was like, fuck, it is.
Yeah.
How much, and that, you know what it's like when you spin off into the, whoa.
Yeah, mate, that was incredible, dude.
Thank you, appreciate that. Well, yeah, I mean, it's all out there. I mean,
even as a video, looked spot on.
Big
mate.
shout out to 40 Miles West, who have also just reached out and done us a website for the podcast. But yeah, we worked together with them on that video, and it was real good fun. What I've got to say about doing music, I've done music since I was a kid and got back into it 5-6 years ago when I moved to Thailand. Actually, the Adrenochrome came around when I was in Thailand. Ironically, I'd kind of let my heart break about my music.
Yeah.
Previous band I was in, Lost Souls, we'd gone a long way. We ended up at Universal Music. We were talking to a cool independent label, and it all just fell through last minute. It didn't happen. Right. And I was like at the end of my tether, and I just thought, you know what, fuck it. At this point, this was 2014. I'm got family in Thailand. I'm sick of the way things are going here in terms of like in my day job in building, the bureaucracy that was just.
Was that in Thailand? Was it?
No, that was here in England, and then I left to go to Thailand. And said, fuck it,
right,
let's just go and see what happens.
And
we went to Thailand, and I kind of had to make peace with what the fuck's that? Is that some of that art?
The Podesta.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, shit.
Yeah, see what I mean, dude?
Wow. Yeah, you don't need to worry about my band being called Adrenochrome, do you?
I'm trying to think of like some of that.
Jesus Christ.
There was like a...
What the fuck?
Mate, it's...
That's... I mean, I'm all for art and expression and surrealism and whatever, but when you start talking about Adrenochrome and Elites and then bizarre baby art...
Yeah, there's one of like, there's a hanging golden statue one. Is that it there on the left? That's the one there, yeah. Just very, 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 very weird. So a decapitated body hanging. Yeah, and they're in government.
Whoa. Yeah.
And
Jesus Christ.
you know, when you look at, say, Savile, and being allowed into Buckingham Palace, he had free access, didn't he?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
You telling me Prince Charles didn't know about it with all of the secret services, all the intelligence that they have?
Yeah.
So where does that put us? You know, he's going to be our next king. You know, what are they into? I don't know if you can remember, there was a report done, there was a teenage girl found dead outside one of the royal palaces, residences, whatever it was. It was some years ago now, but yeah, I just think there's something very, very dodgy going on with the elite at the moment, and I definitely think it's. I
think it's always been. I think where the height of power and opulence and decadence lies. This is a blunt way of putting it, but where do you get your kicks?
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
and also it ties back into a lot of ancient sacrificial energy belief, and it can become quite spiritual in the darker side of whatever that is, and things we don't even understand, and who knows what. We just don't know. What we do know is we live in times of technological change, where information is much more freely available. The ability to be incognito is much more difficult, and we find ourselves at times now where freedom, liberty from the everyman is being taken away at rapid speed.
Look at what Bill Gates said. He said, you guys think that you've got a choice about being vaccinated. You don't.
He said that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
I know Tony Blair keeps popping. Do you know what? I saw Tony Blair pop up the other day, and I saw, you know how you do scrolling through YouTube, and there's a picture of Tony Blair on a still, and he looks just, you know, and this is not me picking on Tony Blair, just you see an image of symmetry. I always recognise symmetry, and he just looks sinister.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because I've got this subliminal attachment to the war element and all the rest of it and all that narrative. But underneath it said, Tony Blair said, you must know that to be vaccinated is how you get your liberty back, or something to that effect it was. And I thought, number one, how has this guy fucking got the nerve to put his face on the telly, never mind, you know, telling you what to do, and attaching it to this and with that. But then I guess there is no...
You don't have a choice. People act like you have a choice. People don't feel like going to the stadium when they might get infected. You know, it's not the government who's saying, okay, just ignore this disease. And, you know, people are deeply affected by seeing these deaths, by knowing they could be part of the transmission chain. And
pause that there quickly. People are deeply affected, by seeing these stats.
Yeah.
And knowing...
Incorrect statistics.
The fear, because guess what? I'm talking directly from my experience in my town, in my city, and everywhere I've been in and around that I can't get a direct first-hand experience of the terror that is being pumped down my television if I was to turn it on. Yeah.
I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody, anyone in my family, any of my mates. I am aware of people who have died.
Yeah.
But then when I've asked those people, I've said, well, what was their age?
Mm-hmm. What were the circumstances?
Every single 100% of people said they was on their last legs. Yeah. They ever had something wrong with them. There's so much more to this that people don't know about, even down to like your diet. Yep. You know, just a healthier diet. You look at, say, Japan, Sweden didn't lock down, no masks. So why are they just getting on? It's their diet is so much better than our
general well-being, the general way they look at life.
Yeah, British diet is appalling, mate. Yeah. I think
it's processed, it's fast, it's convenient, it's to sell, it's to live on the shelf. You know, a loaf of bread you buy from the co-op got made 10 days ago in the Warburton's factory en masse. Then it got shipped out to distribution centres a day later. Then it got shipped out to the co-op hub. Then it got shipped out to your shop to live on their shelf for 4 days and then live in your cupboard for 4 days.
Yeah.
Right? Why? How can that do that? Because if you've ever baked bread, if you don't eat it this morning, you're not eating it this afternoon, you use it as a doorstop. Yeah.
Mate, can I just say as well, Sam, it is so nice to sit down with somebody who's on the same page as me. Do you know what I mean? It's nice because I have noticed like tensions up on social media, isn't it? And it's just nice for me to just come round and just get it off my chest with you, isn't it? And like, you know, hear your
and I will say now as well, because we are broadcasting our podcast and our thoughts, right? And let's make this clear. This is not about being right, being wrong, being evangelical about this or that, or left or right, or red or blue, or tribal this or whatever. It's just we are exchanging the experience of the most crazy time that we're all experiencing. And to be able, like you just nicely pointed out, to be able to sit with someone and go, fucking hell, man, you're feeling this as well? What do you think? How do you feel? I don't know. Do you think this? Maybe that? I don't know. Yeah. If we lose the right to do this, we will go insane.
Yeah, I've got a close friend to me, popped round the other day. I think he's sort of borderline suicidal, and it was just, he said to me, Drew, I needed this, man. And I just said to him, mate, I needed it too, bro, do you know what I mean? And they're trying to stop it from happening, and it's a crazy dark time, innit, man?
Beyond, when you're in the eye of any storm, it's so difficult to recognise it. You know, you can be aware, but it's only when we look back that we're really going to go. And let's hope we get to a position where we can look back with clean air in our lungs and a balanced sense of perspective and a balanced sense of what our future might look like, to be able to say, fuck, man, did we manage to hold on to something? Liberties that we give away, we don't get back. History tells us that,
Just following the orders, isn't it? That is not the right thing to do. Things need to be put on the table and questioned.
What he said there, people hear the stats. Now, again, I'll caveat again, COVID is a mutation of the flu, which is nasty if you are in that group of what is clear now via the science,
Yeah.
forget the statistics of this and the cases of that and the PCR test of this, it is clear that this mutation that, is one of quadrillions and billions of mutations of the flu virus that we have all the time.
Yeah.
This one has hit the headlines. It is wiping out vulnerable people who are in that bracket, essentially of 80 and over, but certainly from 60 up, 70 up, but 82 is the average age of death, which tells you, in the UK, and this is a stat that's published, and if you could find this, Aidan, just to, concur with what I'm saying, I think it was something like 348 people of the age under 60, so 59 and down, in the whole of the pandemic in 2020. I think from the 2nd of April to the 22nd, 348 people, I think it was.
I thought it was 388.
Right, that might be right then.
That was the last figure.
380. Yeah, there you go. Look, 388 people under 60 without underlying health conditions. Of which of that, between 40 and 60, I think was the majority of that. Is like 80% of that number.
Yeah, and and that's alleged as well, because we know people have broken their necks. Just other reasons why they've died, and they've gone down. They've gone down as a COVID death. Suicides.
Yeah, these statistics, and even when you add in, I mean, what's interesting I found with this is that so 80 plus. So even when they add in that critical vulnerable section of 80 and above, and even 60 to 79,000, 79 years of age, with no underlying issues, that number is still 1,979 in the whole of the year.
Yeah. I've just got to pull a name up here, actually, if you don't mind. It's Ivor Cummins, an Irish podcaster. Literally, he's a problem solver.
Name,
you've got to check him out, Sam. Get him onto your podcast if you can. I know he's quite up to chat and to get his information out there. But he uses published data analysis, and he will just say it as it is from the data, not from the BBC. Scaremongering tactics, isn't it? I mean, he's known all along, or for a good while, that it is seasonal. You've got Ferguson science sort of saying 500,000 will die. This is what it looks like. This is what the population looks like after you tell people 500,000 people will die, and then he's swanning off to his lover's house, isn't it? They're all at it. Boris on his bike the other day, isn't it? You can't go any.
That's just what we know. That's just what we know. We're just in plain sight again.
Yeah, I'm tired of it, mate. I've just. The second that second lockdown, they told us 4,000 people a day would die.
Ivor Cummins, here he is.
That never happened. Yeah, guys, if you listen to this podcast, check out Ivor Cummins as well, and he will just talk about it in layman's terms. Yeah.
I'm surprised he's still there. Then it won't be long until he gets chopped.
No one wants to interview him. BBC won't interview him. None of the mainstream media will interview him. But he gets, I think, is it Talk Radio maybe? They give him like quite a bit of time on that. Is it the Delingpole podcast? James Delingpole. He was on there the other day. Did a great hour-and-a-half show where they just put in all of the statistics on the table, going through it. Like I say, he's a problem solver, and I would say, it's refreshing to hear someone saying, "Look, it is a bad flu, but to be locking down your country,
it doesn't weigh up. It's not proportionate."
Yeah, and to like forcefully make people wear masks when it is not 100% proof is wrong.
And we don't know the long-term effects of using these cheap masks, and the hypercapnia and hypoxia that can be caused, and the bacterial fungal situation, and actually in this last time span that we're wearing masks as much as we are, you have to ask the question, well, if everyone's wearing the masks, how are the cases still going up?
It's a winter resurgence, isn't it? So in winter time it comes out, doesn't it? And that's basically what happens. It's just the way of the world.
I'm going to airdrop you something, Aidan. Are you aware of, while we're on the idea of talking to the viewers about, sort of alternative and some kind of semblance for the news, UK column?
I've seen a few of those
Tell you what, they're again, same thing. Actual analytical of actual published documents. They'll take government published documents, as they will today, I'm sure, when the new Mental Health Act's gone out.
Yeah.
And they just literally, because all we get is the 7-minute soundbite. Matt Hancock, we've redone it because, people need to be treated better. And, that sounds great. They've done the new Mental Health Act. Brilliant.
Yeah.
From 1983, it's been updated to 2021 because we need it because it's better. And he's told us it's for better. And then it's gone.
Yeah.
They'll take it and they'll read back and they'll connect all the dots. Who was involved in this? Who are the backers? Who are the lobbyists? What does it mean? What does this mean?
Yeah.
What's the loophole here? And I found that to be so reassuring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here you go. Yeah. Bed occupancy.
That's
this
right.
year in England alone. This is,
yeah,
and I think did I send you the one, Aidan? So this is comparatively from this year to last year. NHS. This is from the NHS network of statistics.
Yeah,
and it's published by UK Column and others.
Yeah,
and you can clearly see, those numbers there.
Yeah,
are what they are. We're not as full as we were last year.
Yeah.
I think I sent you. Let me find it, Aidan. The public, last week the big news was London's hit alert level of whatever it is. Airdrop this, and the Guardian. I used the Guardian front page. I've just sent you that, Aidan. Has it come through? And they went back and they showed the front page, the Guardian front page, which the headline I can tell you was dire warning that London hospitals could be overwhelmed by COVID, right?
Yeah.
That's whenever it was, last week, January 2021.
Yeah.
And the guys went back, did their research and pulled up the headline from January every year right back to 2012.
Yeah.
The same headline.
Yeah.
The same headline, because that's what does happen
Project
at this time
Fear,
of year.
mate.
And it's really difficult, and it's difficult for us to have this inundated opinion and I want to say propaganda, rightly or wrongly, whether that's in one direction or the other.
Yeah.
When you are being given other people's news all the time, it has to come in as propaganda until you can condense it and make sense of it for yourself and decide what is nutritional and what is not.
Yeah.
We're being, and on top of that, the side chaining that's happening is if you don't agree with something, you're being absolutely cast out as some kind of whack brain crackpot fucking left field nut job tinfoil hat wearing. They've kind of wrapped it all up in anti-vax. Seems to be, if you question having a vaccination, here we go, look. So,
it didn't come through, but this is.
Oh, this is the guy. This is
I'd
the
say
police.
I'd posted this, or I shared this on my Facebook as well the other day.
Yeah, this is in Scotland. Police were called to this property by a neighbour. You know, the snitches getting paid for snitching. Yeah.
I am happy with this land, right?
Women of this land are not, doesn't matter.
Look at the bully boys. Look at that.
Absolutely not. You're doing that again, I'm going to lift you for abuse of the peace.
Right, just stop it, man.
Yes.
In my house, I do not think so.
Oh, trust me.
What's wrong? What are you, mate?
Right, no.
Mum, no, please, my mum's no.
Gestapo right there, mate.
I mean, that gives me fucking trauma, that.
That's like communist China or North Korea style.
And this is to protect you from the flu. Let's not forget that. This is to protect you from the flu.
Yeah. I took it really seriously at the start. And then about 5 weeks in, someone sneezed on my face. And nothing happened to me. I got like just a proper, just wet face. Someone sneezed on me and I thought, oh great, that's me.
Yeah.
You know, and then just nothing happened to me. I was a little bit ill in February. My missus, she was ill. Her daughter, she was ill. We all kind of got it, this collective thing. I just felt really weak. But I mean, the way I'm trying to look at it is just all I can do is be super healthy now. I just want to eat healthy, work out 6 days a week. Stuff like that.
You said that the other night. Here we go. Look, so this is what I was just referring to. So again, UK Column just publishing what the Guardian have published.
Yeah.
This is 2021.
Warning that London's hospitals could be overwhelmed by COVID. Now, look, I'm not going to take credit for what I'm about to show here because there is a meme going around social media which shows all the articles that I'm going to show. I've just displayed it in a slightly different way. But this is the key point. This is 2021, or at least the winter of 2020, 2021. This is from today.
And this is the basis for ramping up lockdowns.
Yes.
Save the NHS, get us out clapping again.
Yes.
On Thursday? Is it Thursdays
On
again?
Thursdays, yes, absolutely. But let's just go back through history and see other Guardian headlines about the NHS. That's 2020. Here's 2019. Hospital beds at record low in England as NHS struggles with demand. Here's 2018. NHS intensive care units sending patients elsewhere due to lack of beds. Isn't that happening now? That's been in the headlines the last couple of days.
Supposedly.
Yes. Let's look at 2017. NHS bosses signed alarm over hospitals already running at 99% capacity.
99%?
Yes.
That's a crisis.
Absolutely.
You should shut down the economy. When was this, 2017?
2017.
Was that because of the flu?
That was because of the flu that year.
But what happened? Did they save the NHS that year?
No, they didn't. No.
Well, they did. It still
It
still
still exists,
survived.
but they didn't. Actually,
Nope.
right? 2016, hospitals in England told to put operations on hold to free up beds.
Wow.
2015, hospital bed occupancy rates hit record high, risking care. 2014, more patients, overstretched doctors. Is the NHS facing a winter crisis?
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
It's just
2013, hospitals scramble to prevent crisis in NHS toughest ever winter. 2012, hospitals full to bursting as bed shortage hits danger level. We have seen this every single winter for the last goodness knows how many years. I've stopped at 2012. I'm quite sure we could have gone back further. But the fact of the matter is, and this was the key point from the beginning, Patrick, we're not seeing anything different.
powerful UK column. I always link them in, so people who do follow, check out the description, audio podcast, and in the videos here on YouTube. We do always link them in. I found them to be, I always stick my nose in and find out what, I watched it live in the house today with Boris. You've got to get that balance. You've got to have the semblance of some kind of balance, just to make your own mind up. It's not to say they're right and they're wrong. Yeah. It's just to give yourself some balance.
Science is done, isn't it?
Yeah, peer review. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that's. Today, as I was watching live in the house with Boris batting off everybody's, various situations and whatever from different constituents, I saw Matt Hancock talk about the mental health paper that's going to be published later, that's been updated from 1983, and then I saw a little headline just below that which was what did it say? Hospitals, NHS patients overspill will be going into hotels, right? So just think about the placement of that. So you're watching Boris, then underneath Boris the thumbnail is Matt Hancock's going to do the mental health thing, and then underneath that it's like they're putting the idea in your head that, so all these Nightingale hospitals that got set up that nobody's got any evidence that have actually these things have been populated, never mind bubbling. They've been shut since June, I believe. You might want to check that, but I'm sure they've been shut since the summer. Why are we going to hospitals? From hospitals to hotels, should I say? Why aren't we? I thought we set these. What? None of it makes any sense.
I know a contractor as well who set up the deal for the Nightingale hospitals, and we're all being told it was like X amount of money. Well, the government paid them the same amount again to get it done in half the time. So we're not being told like a load of where the finances are going. It's like, was it called Brucey's Millions or something? Where the idea is to just spend as much money as you can. And that's what I feel like they're doing. They're just trying to just blow all the money and just go, we had to because of COVID.
And now we're going to have to rethink the currency, a global currency, a digital currency. Yeah, I mean, that's part of
everyone
the reset,
sleepwalks into it. And, you look at your toothpaste, fluoride in it. I really do think that the diet, some of the chemicals that are being used have dumbed us down. I do think people high up know about it. Why are we going along with it?
Yeah.
Why is it this year?
And I would point out, because I've looked into that, and I don't think that people, old men in fucking wisdom caves in Tibet are coming up with these ways to dumb us down. I think it's an absolute byproduct of making money. And like the loaf of bread scenario I'll give you, if we put these emulsifiers in it and these preservatives, this loaf of bread can multiply and make us X amount. And yes, there's this consequence because we lose some nutrition. We'll have to put sweeteners in it, like brown bread often has, standard brown bread against white. The white of the bread, you sooner you're dead. there's more fibre in brown bread, but there's often more sugar per slice in brown bread because they're of the fibre to make it tasty.
Yeah.
There's often, the balance sets off with sugar.
Yeah.
But I think that byproduct of us sort of being dumbed down, I mean, if you look at any anthropology, when you look at like paleo diets, anything like that, nutrition is nutrition. Our bodies are built on minerals, nutrients, fibre, and we remove all that.
Yeah. It's like I just bought myself a filter just to filter my water. And because I've got like a glass kettle, and when I first, without the filter, there was just lime scale all over it. And I was just like, what the hell? And then I got this filter, started putting water in it. It's just gone. It sort of washed away like all of the lime scale in there. So people in the country are drinking hell of a lot of lime scale. I'm sure that's not great. So
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's we're at the thin end of a fucking crazy empire period.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this many times, Aidan. Aidan's a history, a history fan. He loves reading his history and empire and 200-300 years, like modern empires, that's about your lifespan. And you throw into the toss exponential growth, on all levels, whether that's from the human cognitive ability, cognition through to technological advancement.
Yeah.
Shit's going faster than ever at the most advanced level that it ever has ever, and we're at the thin end of that empire epoch. And we're gonna turn into whatever this next thing is, and as we've referred to, it's digital. I sometimes think, I don't think necessarily it is a cabal of wicked old men. I think it's the byproduct of earning money, going out and getting that money, creating those big companies that get that big that they're just so predominant, oligarchs, and that in the end, the whole thing kind of becomes one moving mechanism that just consumes itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've decided to I'm just grabbing my woman, grabbing the dog, and we want a place out in the countryside, mate, and that's what we're currently looking for, innit? Just get out of the city. I don't know, I just don't want to see it anymore, I used to love Lincoln, but just walking through Lincoln now,
I haven't done it for a long time.
Oh mate, just all the shops shut, all of those like awesome little independent gems of a shop, they're all gone.
And they're not coming back, are they?
No, even like Primark and that, and some of like your typical clothes shops. I don't know, mate, I just want to be around trees and wildlife. That's where my head's at with it now.
That is where it's at. Hey, fucking hell, Drew, I need to introduce you into this podcast.
Right. Shit.
Welcome to Chew the Chat podcast. Drew, I'm going to call you Drew LaFox. That's your online handle, yeah?
Oh, cheers, man. Yeah.
Drew LaFox. I was introduced to you by previous guest and friend of the show, Kieran Rattigan of Go Deep Flotation, who are the sponsors, or one of the sponsors of our audio version of this podcast. I had a lovely reach out from Kieran in December, I think.
Yeah.
He'd spent time with you and he thought about me, and I tell a story with Kieran on the podcast, and I came to meet you at your place and felt a lovely connection with you.
Cheers, bro.
Same. And in the face of everything we've just spoken about, I think we surmised as we left.
Yeah.
In this world, in this time, and at any time, but more so for me now than ever, meeting people, having the connections, finding out that somebody else just wants to be and is willing to fight for themselves and think for themselves and care about others and be compassionate and try and be open-minded and empathetic to the footprint and to the people. And, as we're going to find out, you're a tattoo artist. You're a creative. I mean, I think that's probably clear. People looking at you now, you're a eccentric, heart on the sleeve. Just this is who I am, and that's a beautiful thing. It feeds people around you.
Thank you, mate. Yeah.
And I know you don't like to be referred to in any kind of shamanic way, but you certainly led me in a beautiful way, and I was really, really grateful for that.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to
took away a lot.
Yeah, do your first Kambo session. It's actually something I was really excited to find out about today. I could bang on about it, but you rocked up to my shop and we got the Kambo on. So how have you been?
Right, so the lead up for me, and I've kind of touched on it here, was that organic reach out from Kieran. So I'll go back a little bit further actually to give you some perspective. So my psychedelic endeavours in the last couple of years, mainly DMT in the last couple of years, have all been giving me the same message. I haven't had my arse kicked. I've had beautiful experiences, but I've had this overwhelming dialogue of, you're good.
Yeah.
You don't need to be here. Just be. Especially the first couple of times I did DMT, I was so eager. I'd read so much, learned so much, and for probably 5, 6, 7 years, I'd been learning and reading, and like there was a couple of times when, and my previous psychedelic experience was always, don't will it into existence. What will be, you know. And so where DMT was concerned, I paid it enough reverence to know I don't need to go hunting it out and go, right, let's do it now. That was how I looked at it. I thought, I'll wait it till it comes. A couple of times it was supposed to come and it never happened. And I thought, okay, that's what's meant to happen. It's not meant to happen.
Yeah.
And then eventually it did. And I think I'd built up such a fucking like, I don't know how many hours of Terence McKenna or fucking fill in all the blanks of the above.
Yeah.
So when I was there, and I was lucky enough to be in a very, very special place on my first launch, immediately I could feel it. I could feel it of myself. Like I'm almost like a journalist here. I'm almost like trying to recount it as opposed to just be in it.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And then a female dialogue, not language, not words, but a message was, no, let go of that. Just be. And then there's several times I've done that since over the preceding couple of years, or the years in post, have been the same. And I've been lucky that all those times I've had wonderful, wonderful experiences. And so when the call came around, I was already of the mindset where I was like, you know what, I don't need to seek anything out now. I'm going to have time. The camping, as I keep coming back to, for me, has almost become my psychedelic connective. That's just where I'm at. I don't know if it's because I've had my kids and I'm about to hit 40, and the way my chapters have unraveled with my psychedelic journey, it's almost like I'm taking so much from this connection. You nudged on it there about just getting out into the country. That's been happening for me. So I was essentially just like not seeking anything out. Didn't feel the need to go and seek anything. But when it came to me in that way, through Kieran and his warm words of speaking to you, and the idea that this is a different thing, I knew a tiny bit, but not a lot. And I thought, right, I'm just going to trust this, because the other part of me is I'm somebody who wants to have experiences and meet people, and I want to go into the unknown and find out what's there anyway. So I thought, right, I'm not going to research it. I'm just going to be and trust and put all my trust in Kieran and therefore you and so on. And then that's what I did. So when I got there and when I met you, as I recount with Kieran himself, you were just lovely. I mean, I spoke to you on the phone prior anyway, and you settled me in on the phone and just put the phone down. I thought, oh, fucking hell, this is meant to be. My trust is working.
Cool.
So when I come and met you, and then, as you said in my place earlier, I come in, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's a vibe in here. There's care. There's love. There's history. There's a real connection to this space in here.
Yeah.
And that set the tone beautifully.
Yeah, cool.
And then on top of that, your good lady walks in, and it's Sherelle, who I was in a band with her brother for years, and she was his big sister, so she was like a goddess to me, which is so weird. Because when I was a young boy, 11, she's like 15 or whatever, she was a goddess. It was like, whoa, John, your sister's like, whoa, she spoke to us, she said hello when we were in there. And then she walks in, and I was like, whoa. She was like, sounds like, fuck me. Wow. How cool is that? So that just added to the whole thing, and then Kieran led the way, lovely, and you guys, and you were lovely, and it was just all so reverent and beautiful, and I trusted it, and I was just confident in my being and just being and just going to breathe, because I was halfway through James Nestor's book at the time, which I'm still halfway through, about breathing, and I just thought, right, I've used my experience, I'm just going to go with the flow, and it was beautiful. When we finally did sit down to do the Kambo, and you'd saged me in dragon blood, and that whole thing's lovely, and it's a beautiful thing to have that, to feel that energy. And then we sat down, and I had a little moment because Kieran sits down before me with his bucket thing. I'm like, oh, Yeah. And then you're like, you can use that one in the corner.
Yeah.
And if you remember, it was pink, and I said, oh, fucking hell, like with my studio. That'd be my Kambo bucket in the studio.
Yeah, it just brightens your Kambo session up a bit, doesn't it?
But yeah, sat down with it, and I think as much as I'd kind of gone with my trust, and you'll know this being who you are and what you do, using my psychedelic experience to go, okay, just be.
Yeah.
Okay, no fear, just be.
Yeah.
I think now from here, looking back, that was my focus, was not focusing. So I wasn't really letting go of anything.
Yeah.
I was hanging on to not hanging on to anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I could sort of see,
Yeah.
you know, it's quite interesting from my side of the Kambo as well.
This is what I want to
watching
ask you
people
about,
go through it as well. So, you know, obviously with Kieran, we know what Kieran's like, isn't it? You know, he's a big purger. And Kieran, if you're listening to this, I love you, bro. You're an absolute
I said
star.
to him, I sat with him, and I've got all that anxiety of like, okay, right, and the next thing, and it's right next to you, and there's a visceral, there's a certain violence to being that close and in that environment.
Yeah. So Kieran's a savage with it, you know, and I mean, I've purged next to Kieran as well, and I've just thought, wow, that boy is going for it. But then, you know, I know when I was watching you, I could sort of see you sort of maybe fighting it, perhaps, maybe like, you know, that surrendering to the Kambo is quite a big thing, isn't it? Just breathing. Water was another thing that I sort of thought,
struggling,
like, you know, I'm presuming you might have been thinking, oh, just shut up, Drew.
No,
I've been there when
I felt like I couldn't get it in me. I think that's maybe because I was tense.
Yeah.
And who knows? I just couldn't get it in. It's like I'm going to blow up.
Yeah. You know, my first Kambo session found it really hard to drink water. My medicine mum was just saying, you need to drink more. You know, look at me right in the eyes, just like, you really do need to drink more. So just now, you know, in your next session, just keep on sipping at it. It's hard. It doesn't even taste different. You know?
It's one of the hardest parts for me. Like I say, from where I am now, looking back, I was trading on my experience and of not focusing. Because I'm not focusing, I'm just breathing. But I was actually focusing on not focusing. That's how ironic and paradoxical is that?
It's a messy place in the head, isn't it? When the Kambo's working on you, it's a crazy. I'll be getting loaded up with Kambo and thinking, what am I doing? I could have just been chilling out on my guitar, or I could have been just drawing. I should have been drawing actually tonight, you know, and that's your mind, isn't it? Just messing with you. But you know, after the first Kambo session I had, I just felt like a reset, like my body and my mind just felt cleansed. That's what it's for, isn't it? That's what they say is on the tin. That's what it's there for cleansing, and I get that. So
it's interesting. I mean,
excuse me, Sam, do you mind if I go to the toilet, please?
No, of course, that's fine, man.
sorry,
Yeah, go for it.
Cheers, mate. Yeah.
You know where you're going, don't you?
Yeah.
Where were we at then? Kambo, weren't we?
Yeah, the Kambo. Yeah, so I was just really interested. I wanted to find out about the space from start to finish. You know, so the hape. Like, how did you find the hape?
So yeah, so when I've kind of settled into, you know, it's like you're settling into the space. So I'm overwhelmed by the space anyway, because it's not often. You've been in my home, you've been in here. Yeah. It's not often that you go in homes and spaces that are that expressive.
Yeah.
Normally we're all kind of safe and magnolia and nice leather settee and a telly in the corner.
Yeah.
So when you go in a space and it's like mad, beautiful artwork and samurai swords and Japanese, Chinese paraphernalia and South Asian kind of, you know, and South America and sage and, you know, it's beautiful, candlelit. So that I'm taking that in.
Yeah.
Obviously meeting you, meeting Sherelle, the kind of whole retro fucking flashback of like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I'm taking all that in, which I think's massive. I think when you know, setting, we know this. So taking all of that in, and then you guided me through everything, and then the hape. And again, I just went with Kieran, just followed Kieran through. I think we with the warrior one we chose.
Warrior heart.
Warrior heart.
Yeah.
And then you taught me through that, and you used that beautiful sort of wooden. Is that what it's called?
A Tepee Pipe.
Tepee Pipe, yeah. beautiful.
Yeah.
And I watched you do it with Kieran first, and for people at home, I think we did try and pull one up on the episode, Tepee Pipe. It's kind of a right angled pipe that...
Tepee Pipe. T-E-P-I. Tepee.
Yeah, there you go, look.
Yeah.
That one, yeah. Something like that, isn't it?
Mad things.
So that is essentially you waiting a perfectly weighted exhale of the plant powdered tobacco combined hape.
Yeah.
That then I take much like this,
Yeah.
up that nostril, and then boom, up you go. And if you remember, I was a little bit like concerned about, I told myself when the last time I sniffed shit up my nose, that would be it. And it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different. And so instant and like, whoa. And I'd watched Kieran do it and whoa. And, you know, and the instantaneous hit and the breathing and like just the meditating on it and sitting with it and letting it just sort of. So when that came, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And again, with hindsight now, looking back at my focusing, I'm not focusing on anything. I'm just breathing. I'm just being here. Was actually me just really focusing on. Anyway, I was comfortable there. I didn't have the horrors, but yeah, certainly I would have had certain elements of myself that just weren't being.
Yeah.
So anyway, I found that quite a nice experience. I managed to hold on to my breath, you know, in my nose. I didn't. Because I'm reading the James Nestor Breathe book, I'm so sort of wrapped up in trying to use my nose more and more and more and create that habit that I use my nose more to breathe.
Yeah.
So as I'm doing that, I mean, that's a test, because when you've had that fired up, each nostril, one and then the other, it's literally a, you know, and then, whoa, and it's a fucking, you know, top, it's like it's the top of your brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then both sides, and then you sit with that, and yeah, that was like, whoa, this is on, and you know, and I can feel the room. That's what's beautiful. I can feel the room, I can feel the energy, and I just settling back. And Kieran and yourself both rightly say, you know, that grounding element, the feeling of like, oh yeah, and sort of settling in, and yeah, I liked that. I was a little bit anxious about the nose thing, but actually it was nothing like what I'd thought.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
I've had just like happy nights with Sherelle. And they've been lovely, you know, just nothing else, just a happy. Really, really like that grounding element to it, isn't it? Just blasts away all of the shit that's going on in your head or whatever, and it just seems to just calm that down and just be grounding. So always a nice way in to the main ones, isn't it? Which is either the Kambo or the Aya.
Yeah.
I think it's like part and parcel of just preparing you a little bit for.
And I love that. I love the fact that you pay so much attention and respect and reverence to that that tradition and how that would be, you know, placed in a ceremony, how it would be respected in that way, you know. So that meant a lot. I was well aware of like how accurately and how much attention you were paying to try to recreate and pay homage to what this whole thing is.
Yeah. I am trying my hardest to bow down to the Maloka, you know, to keep it as rustic as possible, isn't it? You know, I've watched YouTube videos where the Malokas are, isn't it? I actually feel like my pad feels like a Maloka before.
Well, like I say, when I came in, and that's
So,
so important. We take that for granted. Like, you create that environment because it's not just I can make it look this way.
Yeah.
It's the effort and the love and the decisions and the one grain of sand over the next that creates this thing. The energy that you've gone to source that samurai sword or whatever it is. These things that catch your eye when you're out and about. That you think, no, that's got. I need that. I want to bring that in, and that will create this, and that will connect to that, and you feel it, man.
Yeah. Well, I've got a good friend. He's an antique dealer. And so he basically trades antiques for tattoos. So I love my old swords and my muskets. I didn't actually realise this, but in Malokas, they do have weapons up. And it's a way of warding off evil spirits. So that's quite, you know.
A bit like the Americans with the government.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like a sort of, I don't know what amendment it is. Is it the second amendment?
That's interesting, and it really did set the tone. So yeah, the hape I really enjoyed because it's a lovely, subtle, just enough kind of like, right, we're in a different realm here. This is not recreation. This is not, even in my moments where I do try and pay reverence with my good friend, powerful Grant Munro, when we get together, like I say, once a year or whenever we can, to try and pay reverence in our way, whether it's through psilocybin or DMT. We try and set the tone in my little conservatory room you've been in the back there.
Yeah.
So to be in your space like that was like a real this is
cool.
It feels, I can feel the respect.
Cool.
I think that's massive.
Yeah, I think the way how it started out in that pad was, people watching this, they'll know I'm a tattooist now, so my pad is full of art everywhere, and like I say, the antiques and everything. And me and my good mate, Jord, we was like, basically, we wasn't into psychedelics. I hadn't touched any psychedelics for a long, long time. And we was normally just drinking and doing some coke. That was normally our thing. And then someone had sold me a big tub of mushrooms one day, and my mate came over and we was having some coke and and I just said, "Oh, do you fancy a brew?" And he was just like, yeah, go on then. And basically we just blasted off. I mean, it must have been about sort of 500 shrooms in there. Just stuck it all in a brew, in it, and just blasted off. And the next day we was just like, I want that again in my life. Like, that was amazing. And it was obviously in that pad, and he was just like, I really like tripping in your pad, man. It's just like there's sort of loads to just look at whilst you're tripping and stuff. So I was like, yeah, cool. And we started doing it. We said to ourselves, let's trip once a month. At the last Sunday we'll just trip, we'll just get it all out every last Sunday. And we did it for a year with LSD. Friends would come in and people would just say, it's really good to trip in your pad, man. There's just something to it. So it's kind of like, I knew it was just a nice place where, people could just drop their work, drop their phones, drop everything, just come over for an evening, innit? And obviously I started looking into Kambo, and I had my first Kambo last year, start of last year, and it just took me away into this Peruvian way of how you do things, with the hape, with the sananka, with the Kambo, with the ayahuasca. And I just found, this is the way actually of how I would like to do psychedelics, and like having Kieran round, having Danny, yourself come over. It's great. I love looking after people. I think with my tattooing as well, for 12 years I've sat with people for hours in pain, just trying to look after them. I find
that's a really interesting angle. You said that on the night and it made me think, of course, because it is that you've got to keep somebody, you've got to keep someone's momentum up, you've got to keep someone feeling comfortable, because you want them to relax, you want them to, so that's significant.
Like the ancient rite of passage, isn't it? And I think in our country, the Druids massively into psilocybin. God blessed Britain with liberty caps, isn't it? But I just, like I say, I do prefer Peruvian styled medicines. I just think like I say, I mean, I don't know if this will be when we spoke before, I just prefer DMT because I'm under the impression the brain produces the DMT, not psilocybin, not LSD. So I just feel a lot more.
It's homogenous in our human autonomy, isn't it? And it's linked to so much. They're doing a lot of work on it. In fact, future guest Andrew Gallimore, who is a neurologist, scientist, he's just done a book. I forget the title of it. I'll pull it up, Aidan. Andrew Gallimore, DMT. He's working with Dr. Rick Strassman. So,
okay, cool.
The spirit molecule, DMT. Dr. Rick Strassman's famed for doing, all of the tip of the spear work with DMT in the late 90s. He's working with him now, Andrew Gallimore, and he's from Cherry Willingham.
Wow, okay.
Super dude, and he's over in Japan. He's an academic, and he's doing all sorts. He's talking and writing books, and he's agreed to come on here at some point. But cool. that thing about DMT, and again, we mentioned before about the Egyptians and the Sumerians and the whole link to the fact that that's in more plants than it's not in. I think there's even scholars that are looking at the idea that the Moses moment was the acacia bush, and it was actually a psychedelic meeting with God based on DMT. And it's something. You're right. I think the DMT thing, because it's in us. It's there's something that omnipotent connection is yeah. There's Andrew Gallimore. Super cool dude. I'm really looking forward to getting him in as well, because he's I think he's working with Dennis McKenna as well. Yeah, he's really pushing the limits, and I think they're trying to come up with a way of creating the experience intravenously.
I don't know if I'd want to have it intravenously.
It's interesting, but they're looking at the cognitive, like they're trying to map what is actually happening with the brain and what does it mean. I think alien worlds or something like that. Anyway, we'll get to that, but I think you're bang on the money with that intrinsic thing with it.
Yeah. It's just like I say, I've done all of them, and I've just found the one that I love the most, which is basically DMT. Out of all of them, if I ever had a choice, if I could only have one ever again, it would be DMT, basically. Yeah.
And I think it's probably at this point, to point out that Kambo is not the psychedelic. It's not in that realm like the DMTs and the psilocybin stuff. It is my experience of the purging, which we'll get back to. After the hape, we sit down, and as you mentioned, I'm next to Kieran.
Yeah.
And as I've said, I'm sort of thinking, this is cool. And I sit down, and you ask me how many points.
Yeah.
And Kieran says 2. So I kind of think, okay, well, I've put everything in Kieran. I'm just going to go with Kieran. 2. I'll go 2.
Yeah.
Kieran gets underway just before me, and he's away, and it's not even 5 minutes, I don't think, before. And I'm like, fuck, man, he's filled that thing already.
Yeah.
And then you're doing my points, which for people at home, I think Aidan's shown it on the screen previously. You take that top layer of skin off.
Yeah.
You just burn that slightly, and then you've created the Kambo paste, and then just that sharpness when that enters.
Yeah. It's quite burn. You feel quite.
And I'm sat, and I feel that go, and the heat, like the sharpness down the arm, and then the heat, and then the woo, 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 the fucking heartbeat. And my head just feels like it's fucking 6 foot in every direction, wah, 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 wah. And I'm like, what? It's like someone's playing jungle drums in my fucking, behind my eyes,
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, and I'm getting hot. I'm like, whoa, the fucking hell, right, keep breathing, I'm cool, keep breathing. I'm thinking, fuck me, I'm going to projectile, I'm going to hit that wall. Jesus Christ, I'm not going to be able to hold this thing. And I remember you saying, try and, if you can, sort of keep your head up, because if you end up falling forward, obviously gravity and blood. And so I'm sort of staying down and waiting, and I sort of breathe through it, and then the heat starts to subside, and the whole pulsating starts to subside, and I'm sort of getting a bit calm. I'm like, okay, I'm through that bit. Yeah. Okay. And then as I'm starting, and Kieran goes, I'm like, oh, fuck, man, that's coming to me. Shit. I know that's coming now because I've broken through this jungle fever.
Yeah.
And so I'm there, and I'm like, whoa. And then I think what happens, and you'll be able to put me right here. Kieran must purge, I don't know, several times, and I don't purge.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I know we've said this is probably about 40 minutes of purging, maybe somewhere around there. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm trying not to think about it, but I know I'm in deep here. I'm in some time, and I'm not purging. And then you just, as you were brilliantly, there's just a certain way of doing what you did, which is perfect. Obviously you're reminding us subtly to just drink the water and just making sure we're all right and tending us, and you can feel it. It's lovely. I'm sat there with my eyes shut, and then I think your sage does and stuff at one point, and then you just subtly sort of picked up on it, which I knew you would, because I'm sort of thinking, okay, well, maybe it's a body mass thing, so I think we did discuss that before, and I'm a bit bigger than Kieran, and you just subtly sort of said, you okay? I'm like, yeah, good. And you said, you're probably a similar mass to me, and if you want to do 2 more points, as I would normally do, 2 more points, and then you just sort of left me for a second to think about it, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And that was lovely, because I was able to sort of, you just brought that into my sphere, just, it was in my consciousness, obviously, because I'm thinking, hang on, where am I going now? I'm not and then obviously, then we went again on the other arm, and then fuck me, the heat, and then this time I'm like, whoa, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, fuck me, that's even more. And then I get through that again, but then as I come through that, this is how I remember it. You might be able to correct me here. Then I feel like I'm sweating like a motherfucker. I'm like pouring. It's like I come down from the second jungle fever, but as I've come down, I'm red hot. I'm now not so comfortable in the space. I'm not feeling the urge to be sick so much. I'm not drinking the water as much. You're reminding me more. But the heat and then the flatulence. The flatulence that starts to come through me, like, and at one point I think, fuck, I'm going to shit myself, fuck. And I can feel like just everything leaving me, not farting, not like, you know, just literally like falling out of me. And then I had a thought, for a split second of like being self-conscious of it.
Right.
And that thought only got like halfway through. And then I realised, no, you daft cunt, we're in a beautiful space. Like, let go of that. And that was a lovely feeling. Knowing I could just let go of like just all this mad noise and shit coming out of me. I was just hoping that I don't shit myself. But even then, the thought came in that it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't have fucking mattered. It would have been just whatever. And that was really reassuring. But then as that went, my ability to stay comfortable, I mean, I'd hurt my ankle at the time and I was trying to keep... And then I had a flash. I think I felt like it was maybe 5 or 10 minutes of dealing with that, and then I had like a flash of 2 people from my family come through, and then I had a purge. Although I didn't purge sort of like Kieran, bile, and I feel like I purged about 4 times. Again, I'll take your account in. But for me now, knowing it feels like my purge was like sweat and flatulence, and probably with hindsight. Because as we go through it, I won't go too far into the future. But as I get through that, I'm sweating. I'm kind of having to move and change my orientation of how I'm sat, because I don't know if it's just a case of I thought it was my ankle because my ankle's making me uncomfortable, but maybe I'm just not, you know. And I purged maybe I thought about 4 times, but not anywhere near as dramatic as Kieran. So I'm questioning myself. I'm like, is this working for me? Is this doing this for me? Because at the time I'm not considering the sweat and all that. And then as we start to wrap up, I think I asked to lay down. I felt like I was ready to lay down. And I laid down, and it was nice. And then slowly but surely we all eased out, and then we started to converse and share, which was beautiful. And then from that moment when we started to converse, I can remember thinking, fuck, I don't know, has that worked? Because I'm basing it all on me purging, like, you know, being sick at rates that I was not anticipating that I could even be capable of. So I'm thinking, has this worked on me? And because it's not psychedelic, and I didn't know that much about it, I'm thinking, oh God, have I like pushed this off or what? But something's happened. And then when I got home that night, my wife, super keen to know what's going on. She loves, listening to my crazy endeavours and stuff. And she also knows that I am dealing with trauma, in terms of family members and those 2 family members that went through my mind. And she wants to know, did you purge it? Do you feel better? Did it come up? Have you dealt with anything? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I don't want to be rude, Don. I said, but I can't, let's not go there right now, because I don't know where I'm at. And this is unusual, because normally if I've done it, I'm like, fucking this. And she's like, fucking hell, slow down. So we go to bed. Next day we get up, we're downstairs, and she asked me again, so, how was it? How do you feel? And no, that was it. I went for a bike ride, didn't I? So I was up early. I was up early to go for a bike ride, and I'd obviously fasted all day to do the session the day before. And I was up early to go for a bike ride, and because I got in quite late, I don't think I'd eaten a lot at all. I tried to eat something, but wasn't getting it in me when I got in. Just wasn't up for it. Went for a bike ride up in the Wolds, and actually I think I was quite depleted because I hadn't eaten. The emotional and when we get to your version of my events, it'll be interesting, because you noticed that from me, and on recollection I'm starting to look back now and go, that focus on not focusing, that I think I was tense, and that takes energy out of you. So I was quite, my missus said for 3 days, she said you weren't around, you were like, and it's only in the sort of last week where I'm looking back and I'm going, fucking hell, what happened there? So that was my account of it. And as I sit here today, Drew, I still can't put my finger on, and I don't know if it's I've got all these preconceptions of the specific traumas. I feel like I've done so much work in my life on all this stuff, and I feel like, probably wrongly, I've got these remaining bits of trauma to sort through. And I'm kind of thinking, well, this box hasn't been ticked, and I can't put my finger on it, but something bizarre fuck knows. It's
Yeah.
really strange.
Yeah, digs in deep, doesn't it? It does. I was exactly the same for my first one. you know.
Okay.
So it was pretty much the same. I was invited over to this lady's house. Kind of had that hippie vibe. There was 5 people doing it. Obviously quite nervous. I won't go through my whole first space, but yeah, finishing it, I was in the car with my missus thinking, because she was asking the questions like, oh, what happened, didn't it? It's obviously quite, you know, what people want to know. And I just sort of said, I don't know. I was just the same. I was just like, something's changed. There's been a dial changed. I feel better. I feel like I've had a weight taken off me, but didn't really understand it. It was quite subtle as well at the same time, isn't it? But the more I've noticed, the more Kambo I've used, you definitely go in deeper.
Right.
Definitely, you know, sort of like you've taken the first step, isn't it?
Yes.
And I think there's a lot to it. So, you know, when we say it's not a psychedelic, I have still seen visions on it, you know, like I had a friend who had died. He came to me I'd done my purging. I was laying back. I was a little bit like delirious still, but yeah, just an old friend came to me, and I can't even like remember the conversation, but it was just like a conversation, and I hadn't really been thinking about him that day or that week or anything. It just kind of came in. He was there to help me. Yeah, like it's kind of crazy. I definitely think Kambo's helped me throughout all this lockdown and all this what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, the mental alleviation or just some kind of baseline in the madness. Yeah.
I've had about 9 dots put on me once, and I wasn't sick. I just cried for 15 minutes, but God, did that feel good, man. And that was like I think it was like my 3rd time of doing Kambo. So Kambo can be different every single time that you do it. Sometimes I've had it where I'm like in pain. I've got cramps in my arms, my legs. I'm just in pain. I've cried, laughed. I've had some where it's just completely bounced off me, and I've got up and rolled a fag and just been fine. But I can feel it like doing its thing on me. I haven't purged. So every single time, every single time, it's just a little bit different. Is it where you are in your life at that moment in time? The blob of Kambo's put onto you. I think there's definitely something to that.
Yeah, there has to be, you know. And like anything, no matter how experienced you are with something, whatever it is, a new environment, a new thing, a new substance, a new whatever, a new human to look at, that is requiring a lot of cognitive trust and awareness and all those things anyway. Second time in, there's a familiarity, you're able to relax. It's the same with flotation therapy. You know, first one, it always blows your mind because it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Number 2, number 3, number 4, you start to let go, you start to relax because it's familiar. That's just the primal human safety network in play, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd say I've done about Kambo 15 times, something like that. I'd never really look forward to it. I just kind of just go, I feel like I could do with it being done. Yeah. I'll book a date in the diary, isn't it? And then on that day, it is happening. It's happening, it's going down. There's, you know, I'm going to fast and then I'm going to purge at the end of the day. And I just kind of know I'm going to feel great for doing it. And I always do. So, and it's always nice just to hear people saying it's legit, you know. It's just so odd. It's just so odd. There's like a spiritual cleansing to it, and it's a frog medicine that you...
And as I said to you,
I
know. I think I said to you... when I left, when you was like, you know, how do you feel and blah, blah, blah. I think so much of it, you replace a substance with ayahuasca or iboga or DMT or, you know, mushrooms even. When you create a space like that and you've got a handful of people who are all carrying in their own anxiety, their own butterflies, their own traumas, their own fear, and willingly wanting to go to this space where they recognise we're all sharing this space. That alone is so important and such a powerful thing. And much like the environment, the details that you've gone to, the care, the love, the nurture for the environment to create this space to feel this way.
Yeah.
That kind of, in the podcast we did with Kieran, that's kind of magic. That's the invisible magic, you know, that sort of wraps around everything and facilitates whatever the energy can be within it. And I love that. And for me, so much of that is integral to that experience, you know. And when we do this again in the future, you know, that ability for me to relax and have this more familiarity, who knows where we'll go. But yeah, I was that was and again, like I said before, part of me that was like at the end of my psychedelic chapter for now was like, no, opportunity strikes, and I always want to go into the unknown and find out what's there and see what I can learn. And so I'm pleased, really pleased, and yeah, next time in will be interesting again, I'm sure. So what was your perspective of my experience then? What was it from your end?
So watching you go through it, I just sort of thought, okay, so it's someone new coming in, just got to like look after, you know, and to be honest with you, I just try and treat everybody equally, isn't it? And just try and be there for people. That's like my main thing, isn't it? But then at the same time, I know you guys are going through hell at that time.
But you pick up? Did you pick up on me then having that tense?
I was like, he's a fighter.
Yeah,
he's a fighter. He's. I definitely sort of thought, like, especially with the two on. I mean, like I say, we're roughly the same size, isn't it? And I like having 4 on me. Like I say, I've had 9 on me, but it just, guys, it's a lot. It's a lot, And I just like having 4 on me. 4 does me perfectly. And so I did think when you sort of went for the 2, I was just like, I hope he gets something out of this. I just definitely hope he gets something out of this. And then when it wasn't happening, I was like, I really want him to get something out of this. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want him to go home and be like, I didn't purge. I only had like 2 dots or something in it. So I'd kind of known, but I always like to offer my stuff up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's say if someone came around and said, I want like 6 dots of Kambo, a load of Hape and Sananga. And they came in on that day and was just like, actually, I just want Hape. So be it, isn't it? I'm not here to be pushing people into whatever in it. So I'm really quite sort of gentle with the dosages, isn't it? If people say 2, let's just stick to that 2 in it. If it's your first time, maybe come round again next time. We'll have 4, isn't it? Some of the bigger guys.
That's wise, man. Because you just whether or not you've got a force out on that energy, you know that's the energy. And like I point out, the way you subtly told me what you already knew was the way it needed to be. A good old 4 points. I mean, you now know in future. Yes, exactly.
You know, you can just sort of like jump straight in with the 4. Like I say, you might have 4 dots on and you might just burst into tears, mate, and that would be absolutely fine, isn't it? Like if you needed to take a shit in the bucket, isn't it? That's like would be absolutely fine, isn't it? That's your purge. I respect it. I go through hell when, do you know what I mean? I'm nothing special. I'm puking up like crazy. So I just know how you guys feel, and obviously if it was your first time, just want to like look after you. But like I say, I could definitely tell there was like a strong character in there that may, as they're going through that process, might just be like trying to fight it a little bit, innit it? Sometimes now when I go into the Kambo, I've noticed myself thanking the frog. So I'm very much just like, I can feel it pounding in the head, isn't it? And I'm just like, thank you for like
pounding,
cleansing me. So we all go in it in different thing. I just thought you did really, really well. Mate, I'm pleased you got that purge out, isn't it? Sometimes it's little, sometimes it's not so little, isn't it? You know, if you wanted like 6 dots, go for it, isn't it? You know, it's going to be a hard experience. You know, I think when you start getting into like 6, 8, 9s, I've seen some guys doing 15. I've heard of like 30 dots being put on.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures where it looks that way. Yeah,
I've heard there's like where you go for the whole day and you do it like 3 times in the same day. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You said afterwards, the next day, I always feel my body's had a bit of a shock from it. Like it's just taken a bit of a beating from the Kambo. Maybe it's the retching. A lot of energy, but like internally you just feel better. And I think the body's taking a bit of a kicking from the Kambo. 2 or 3 days back in, hey, like I'm physically back to normal.
Yeah.
And you start integrating again with it.
Yeah, it was interesting. My wife, she said, you know, for 3 days you were kind of just checked out a bit, you know, just
thinking about
it. Just like thinking about it, but not as well. So isn't it ironic that the paradox for me was, okay, I'm at a point in my psychedelic career, as I've said, where I'm confident that in my way of dealing with psychedelics, because that anxiety you talk of, those butterflies, if you said to me, right, with you know, DMT, fuck man, I've got to do some work to even though I know I'm going to go to a beautiful God realm and all that, it's fucking like, whoa. There's a tension, there's an anxiety that you have to deal with, and you have to trust it and let it go. And like I say, parallel to that, I'm like, no, this has come into my realm, and I'm going to go with the flow, and I'm just going to breathe. I'm all about the camping and the naturalistic side of things at the minute, and I'm going to let that guide me. But ironically, with the hindsight now, me thinking that all I'm doing is breathing and not focusing on anything, that was my anchor. That was what I was actually focusing on quite hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like
too many thoughts, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah, just like too concentrated on letting go.
Yeah.
Created a situation where you don't let go.
I've had that. I think, you know, there's definitely a bit of a fire in me, and like first sort of 20 minutes have been just like chaos in the head, and then somewhere you just find like a clarity in it, and it tends to be like, say, some family members were brought up with you, you know, that's what it does. It just brings something up, and it want you to focus in on that. One of the reasons why I was using the Kambo was to beat my fear of heights.
Yeah, you mentioned this.
Took up skydiving, and genuinely terrified of heights, but just there's something inside me that just needs to jump out of a plane. So
let's digress a little then. How does that come around? What inspires that, and take us through, you know, how you arrive at Kambo with it?
Yeah, so like what with the skydiving, yeah. So basically my friend said we should do a charity jump, and with skydiving, the weather has to be perfect, and we'd had a couple of dates knocked, and basically he passed away in a house fire, so we never got to jump with each other.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously I've dealt with that in my own way, and I wish I could have jumped with him. You know, whenever I'm at the drop zone, I always think about him, and then like our friend Scottish Sean. I said to him, I said, do you want to take Tomo's place and come jump with me? And he came and jumped with me, and I did my first tandem, and just thought, wow, I need this in my life, even though I was like really scared. I need this in my life, but it was a tandem, so there's someone else is doing all the work.
Have you ever done anything like that before? You bungee jumped? Have you rock climbed? Have you sort of chased?
Yeah, rock climbed and that. I'm ex-army, so they was all into their like off time doing activities, isn't it? Like proper cool sort of extreme sports, like here and there. And I just, after doing the tandem, I was just like, I have to do this on my own. There was just like that inner thing in us, isn't there? That's just like makes us climb a mountain or do whatever. My inner thing was just like, I have to jump out of a plane on my own, you know. And so I went in and I did my ground school, and I was using Kambo before jumping, like maybe sort of 2 or 3 days before a jump. I'd always do some Kambo, and it helped. It was helping me. You know, when it's you've purged, you've been sick, and it just wants to lay you down and just go over some things, and that's what it would do with me. I'd do my purge. My intentions would be to like help me with my fear of the height, and then it would lay me down, and it would project my mind into the plane, and it would project the levels that you have to do to pass like your, what they call like an A license. So it's like 18 jumps that you've got to do, and then you've got like your A license. So that's what I was using Kambo for. I had a reason, and it was basically to help with this fear of height.
So that first time when you get in the plane and you have told yourself, I'm doing it, and tandem or not. I mean, how high you go that first time?
15,000 feet. Yeah.
What's it like when that hatch opens and you fucking...
Yeah, it's crazy. It's my first jump. So I was at the drop zone all day long, just waiting on with my thoughts in my head, and then I jumped at about 6:30, and it was a sunset, and so I jumped out. My first jump was, they say it was good, but I was cacking myself and had loads of sensory overload going on and didn't really do like loads of my drills, but I still pulled my own chute and I survived. And they said that's basically you passing like level 1, you know. So and you know, you pass your level 1 and it's just like, right, I need to jump again. It was like, it's quite addictive to me. But yeah, so pulling your chute, when I pulled my chute and just falling through the air or flying through the air at 4,000 feet through a sunset, just the most magical thing I've ever experienced. Just the fear and then just the absolute heavenly peace. You know, it's the closest thing to what I think heaven looks like up there at 4,000 feet. I just love it.
Yeah,
I just
it sounds
love
wonderful.
it. Yeah, you know, just coming home from a jump and then just sitting down with a whiskey and just thinking, I've just jumped out of a plane. It's like, I don't know, there's something to it.
Yeah. It's one of the things that's on my list of things, you know, and that and going in a shark cage are like things that I'd love to do that. Feel like I'd love to do that, but I just know that when given the opportunity and I'm there, I know I'd be faced with fears and anxieties, but I think I could do it.
Yeah.
I think I could do it.
Yeah.
And I will at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But my God, the again, reverence, it got to pay.
Yeah. For me, skydiving is the best drug on the planet. You know, it's just a natural, pure, 100% awesome high.
How many jumps do you do before you go on your own then?
So you can jump out on your own the first time if you want. Fuck. I've seen people doing it. There was a girl on my course and she jumped out. She'd never done a tandem and she did it, and it's just like, wow, there's some brave people there, you know, and that's what I like to hang around.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's contagious.
Yeah, I remember going to a jump. It was Monday morning. It was 9 a.m. I was on a plane, and I got to the edge of the door and was just like, no. I can't do this right now. And I just sat back down and everyone else jumped out and I felt like a bit of a pussy, like, innit? But I knew I needed a fag, a couple more coffees, 12 o'clock, and then I'll jump. And I did, and I got 2 jumps in that day. Yeah, amazing experience. It's definitely, I'm so gutted because I've 2 more jumps away from getting A licence, pretty much.
And what does A licence represent?
That basically means, so there's 8 jumps with instructors and they all want you to do these drills in the air. And then you've got 10 jumps without instructors and you can do anything you want. So if you wanted to backflip for 10,000 feet over and over again, you could do it, whatever floats your boat, if you just want to stay still for 10,000. So basically, yeah, there's 18 jumps. Once you've got your A licence, you can go to, say, America or wherever, and I think your plane ride is equivalent of like 20 quid and your kit is 20 quid. So it just makes it super cheap. So, and like, you know, I would love to go to Thailand, America, just to jump out of planes for a day in it, just go camping, hopefully one day get a canopy and just spend some time at a drop zone, just jumping out over beautiful landmarks, isn't it? Like Dubai looks pretty cool to jump. That's meant to be a pretty good hot spot for jumping out, you know, like with the sea and like the islands.
So has this all been in sort of the same timeline as the Kambo then, really? Last couple of years?
These are all marrying up, isn't it?
Right.
I bounce off them. There's been times with Kambo where it was like sort of, that's it. I got a real good Kambo message once. This was leading up to my jump. It'd done its thing with me. I'd had my purge and I was just laying back, and it'd taken me through the skydive, and it said, if you can jump out of this door, you are destined for greatness. And I just loved, I remember sort of going, I love you. Do you know what I mean? I like needed it. I needed that little message just to sort
And
of...
what did greatness represent to you in that message?
I think it just meant you'll...
Seeing yourself through kind of thing.
You'll be stronger.
Yeah.
You'll be a stronger person.
You're going to be the version of you that you know, your
Yeah.
potential, you're reaching your potential.
You're another step towards the highest you could be, isn't it? You know, like I could have just said, you know what, I'll just not do skydiving, and I mean, I love tattooing, but I quite like to do other things outside of it. But definitely the two have married up. I had a Kambo session where I just burst into tears over. I'd gone through a purging, I was laughing and I was crying. And one of the things I was crying about was the voice, the Kambo frog spirit, whatever you want to call it. It was saying you don't have to jump to prove to anybody. Like, you should be now jumping out of a plane because you want to, because you find it fun. You don't have to be testing yourself. Like, if you're not enjoying the test, don't do it. It's still a big thing to me, jumping out of a plane, you know. So it was just beautiful. I have some beautiful little messages come through from the frog spirit, man, you know, and I've just definitely found the two bouncing off, just dealing with fear of jumping out of a plane, dealing with fear of having Kambo on you, going through that fever, and then just getting that enlightening messages from the Kambo. Or then when you've jumped out of a plane and you've landed and you're just like, yes. Love that. I love that in my life, mate. I'm just not into just sort of sat on the sofa just watching, you know.
I take that from you, and again, as I allude to when I met you on that night and feel the energy, and when we left, that summarization from me is I love meeting people who go into the unknown, try things, do things, you know, whether they're great at them or not great at them, or scared by them or not scared, just trying to squeeze this little fucking fraction of time that we've got. You know, to take this experience in this stage of whatever this thing is. I love that. And jumping out of a plane, you're probably going to get me in trouble now.
Mate, I want to get into base jumping at some point, but that's like 200 jumps. They like you to have done at least 200 skydives, and then you can start thinking about jumping off buildings. But I look at people jumping off cliffs and I just think, wow, I want to do that. I don't want to be on my deathbed thinking I should have done that.
Yeah, if you're called and, you know, and blessed enough to be able to bring it into actuality.
Like after doing a skydive, and it's not like a big egotistical thing, but you just feel like you can take on anything after it, isn't it? With the Kambo, I just sort of feel I can sort of, I'm a little bit harder than what I was. You know, you're going through that suffering, but you are stronger at the end of it.
So the first time you are flying through the air on a tandem jump, I imagine that anxiety, all of that preconception of the things you've seen on the films, on the telly, the research you've done, the YouTubers you've been watching, the whole gambit. Now it's you, much like a psychedelic experience. You're now sat on the side of the plane and fuck me, we're going. And then boom, you're out. You know? And then that moment, I imagine, then you compose, and then the reality hits you, fuck me, we're doing it. We're doing it. What is that like? And how long does it take you to sort of start using your senses and recognise you can see things and you can take it in and be present?
It's so I am now on jump. I've done 7 jumps, but I'm on level 6. And shout out to my instructor Milko. He trained Tom Cruise how to skydive.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's done 27,000 skydives.
Powerful Milko.
Yeah, mate. Honestly,
27,000.
Honestly, I love the guy.
I'll have to strike the vape up off the back of that.
Yeah, man. No, what a great guy. He is just. I love jumping with Milko when we're up in the sky. God, like what the feeling is crazy, mate. The feeling is crazy. Like I say, you have this sensory overload. That's what they call it, the sensory overload. That can be about 5-10 minutes. It's 5-10 seconds. And then, like I say, you do stabilise out. And then your mind's on the drills. you got your head up, so you're not like you're looking down, going your head's up. You sort of in, you with your instructor, and you can sort of see in the corner of your eyes. There's like 2 miles left of void to fall. It's cool.
Wow. What's the most nerve-wracking bit? Is it jumping out, or is it pulling? Is it landing? Is it...
Yeah, I don't like... It's not that I don't like. There's a few things. Getting on the plane, getting the kit on.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So this is where it starts for me. This is where it starts, yeah. Seeing your name on the screen saying you're on the next flight.
Wow.
And it's just like...
Isn't this similar to a psychedelic sort of...
It is.
That knowing that you're going to do something so powerful that's going to affect you in such a way that is so all-encompassing and provides all of those anxieties that you're prepared to face, prepared to go through, and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
You never get away from it, no matter how much you do.
Yeah. Mate, so like I say, some of them guys they're just so inspirational to me. There was this Hungarian lass, and we're on the same level. In fact, she got a level higher than me on the last jump, but she struggled with level 4 and 5, which is basically doing your turns, doing sort of 360-degree turns left and right. Yeah, it's harder than what it looks, and some people spin out, and she was spinning out, and she came down. She'd failed 4 times, and she kept on going. And you look at that and you just think, wow, you have got some guts.
Powerful, yeah.
Yeah, it's like everyone is helping each other there, and everyone's giving people really good sound bits of advice. You can do it. That Milko, I love Milko. He said something really powerful to me, man. Like I did my level 5, which is 360-degree turn, and he wanted me to do level 6 that day, and I just didn't want to do it because it's basically you jump out, you do a backflip, and then you'd start tracking, and I was just happy. I'd passed my level 5 and was happy with that, and just wanted to go home on a win. And he was going, right, I'm just going to do one more skydive, and then I'll come and pick you up, and then we're on the next flight. And I was like, right, okay, mate. And he did that, and then he came back down, and he said, right, you haven't got your jump pack on. And I was just like, I don't want to do it, Milko. And he was just like, right, okay, that's cool. And I told him why. And he went to me, I wouldn't have asked you to do level 6 if I didn't think you could do it. I believe in you. Now all you have to do is believe in yourself. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah, so simple.
Yeah. And I remember I got home, mate, and I just burst into tears because it's like I say, it's a big thing for me. Jumping out, big thing for me. And I was just like, he's such a legend. He's such a legend. Do you know what I mean? I've never had anybody tell me that they believe in me. They believe that I could jump out of a... He's just like a bro. He's like the big bro to me, isn't he?
Yeah.
The best bro you could sort of ask for, isn't it? I've found this skydiving. It's a challenge for me. It's the biggest challenge I've ever done. And I've got like my big bro, and he's going to see me through my A license, isn't it? So
that's amazing, man.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's been a mad one.
Oh man, you've got a little bug going in my mind.
Sam, come with me.
Yeah.
When hopefully
if
the World Economic Forum Act doesn't take over.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'd love to. And I tell you what, I'll stand, and Aidan can back this up. Everything that that comes through this podcast, in the same way that reverence to the psychedelic community, or any community now really, that I'm kind of trying to live by, is these opportunities come through, I will take these opportunities.
Do it.
Because I think the connection and the beauty of finding all of this, that's what it's meant to be. You're meant to go with it.
Yeah, I can see it in you, mate. You're a skydiver, man. You'll love it, mate. You'll love it.
Oh wow! Well, yeah, that's on the list then.
Yeah,
let's do it.
And it's like you actually invited me onto your podcast for the Kambo, isn't it? And we're talking like loads of things, isn't it? But like, I love Kieran's float tank as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I bounce off so many different things that not everybody knows about. The float tanks. His lady had done Reiki for me the other day. Wow,
powerful.
I really changed me up.
Wow.
Really, I went in quite sceptical. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
A little sceptical. But she done something to me, mate.
Episode 11, you can hear Annie Rattigan, powerful Kieran and powerful Annie. What a lovely couple. What a lovely energy.
Absolutely.
What a lovely little world they're building.
Opened my heart right up, she did.
Yes.
It was amazing, mate. I had a little, me and Sherelle sort of like, we just struggled to know where we were going in the future. I did the Reiki with Annie and then did a float tank. But I woke up in the morning and I just wanted to grab Sherelle and just say, look, let's live together and just get like a pad out in the countryside, isn't it? And all I want to do is look after my woman, the dog, her mum. Definitely open my heart up.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We can just feel it. And it's like someone
and
punches
allow it
you up, you
in
can
as well,
feel it,
to allow it in, because it can be scary. Because there's a vulnerability and there's a responsibility and there's a surrender, which was a word that kept coming up with Kieran the other day that we kept surmising things with, which is in the end, whether it's Kambo or jumping out that plane or allowing that love in, especially, we haven't got into your childhood and stuff, which is something that I do like to ask, and we'll do this again, I'm sure, many times now.
Yeah.
But that trajectory when you're young, and certainly for me, the kind of love that you receive when you're young, whether it's conditional or unconditional, plays a massive part. And then I've found as I've gone through my life, the archetype of a modern man and all this stuff, boys don't cry. Yeah. Sometimes knowing what the work I've done on myself, whether it's through psychedelics or reading psychology, these 49 episodes at this point, speaking to people and hearing all these different perspectives and different timelines of trajectory and love and nurture, I'm trying to pay attention to the ability to receive love and give love. I'm a loving person, but I didn't have that. It wasn't cultivated and a celebrated thing for me growing up. It was all rather orderly and, like I say, conditional. You reach these expectations and then you achieve these rewards or not, and you saying that's a beautiful thing, to be opened up and to allow love in and love out and trust it. That's fucking the end game. That is.
Yeah, that's really where I felt with it. I just like the world's really mad, and I was like, this lady has just done so much for me, but so much more than anybody else. I've just been sort of throwing it back in her face, and I was just like, it just an instant change. Just an instant change, just like, nah, I've got to look after this lady, and I'm gonna. And
I'm sure, Drew, it permeates everything. Symbolically, your lady's at the forefront of that, but really that's every cell of your body, every experience that comes through your eyes, in your ears, you're applying that to everything now. And that's what's beautiful. That's when the world really opens up, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely make mistakes, isn't it, still?
It's never going to change.
Just recently, I'd made what I would consider a mistake, not a big thing or anything, or but I just needed to do a little bit more learning, and just try and rectify it as best as you can, isn't it? It's just a bit of a journey. No one knows really where we'll be in the next 5-10 years, isn't it? But just
really more so than ever now. It is a real tricky time in that sense. Well, listen, bro, this has been wonderful.
Thank you very much,
really,
bro.
Really appreciate your time.
Great sitting chatting with you, man.
It's been recorded. We're off skydiving.
Let's do it, bro.
Hold me to it.
Yeah.
You chase me. You tell me when. Tell me where. Tell me what. I'll be there. I'll be there.
Thing.
This is an opportunity that you have to take. It's come. It's presented itself. It's in love. It's in harmony. It's got to be done.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I pester that. It's a Hibblestow. That's where we would go. Yeah, Hibblestow. I'm constantly, if I know they're open, I'm just like basically I don't leave that place without a date in the diary. So as soon as I book in, I'll just let you know this is when I'm jumping, man. Do you want to come with it? I think it's like 200 quid for your tandem.
Brilliant.
In the weekday or whatever. I think it's like a 50 quid deposit.
Yeah.
And then 150 on the day, mate. But it will be the best 200 quid.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, we're doing it, and I'm sure we'll spend time together in the meantime anyway, because we'll be reverent and trying to be united and bonded and share experience during this difficult time. But listen, thank you so much. Where do we send people to find you if you want finding?
Yeah, man, that's a hard question. Facebook are like seem to not like my business pages at the moment.
Are you victim to that as well?
Yep, and I'm
as a tattoo artist.
Yep, and I know that there's other tattoo artists as well that like I don't know whether they just don't like my sharing of the posts, whether they're sort of it feels like it. Do you know what I mean? I've written in and sort of said like my messages I can't get through to them. I've wrote to it like a number of times, don't get anything back, and I know I'm not the only person who's seen with that. But I mean, Facebook, Drew Potts, or Instagram, Drew LaFox. You'll see my tattoo page there.
Yeah.
I don't post loads about the Kambo practices or anything. No. I've kind of only just really sort of got into it, but had been wanting to take off with it before all of this BS happened. So, but yeah. Drop us a message on my Facebook, Drew Potts, or go to Instagram, Drew LaFox, and drop us a message there, and I'll get back to you.
Awesome. Well, listen, brother, thank you so much.
Thanks, bro.
I'm sending you peace and love, and we'll do this again.
Come on, bro.
Nice one. Cheers, Drew.
Nice one, mate. You ledge.